sometimes.
Yeah, he's all of that. He's he's fatherly in that, like, that, well, I have a lot of dad issues, and also that's the reason that he's fatherly, and we could get into that, but we'd have to call my therapist probably.
Yeah, I'd have to sit on the stool and then you lay down here.
No, Mark he's very fatherly. He also makes a lot of dad jokes because he's English, so I don't know. And then I start making them, which is pretty funny too. And it's just kind of, our dynamic is that we're working all the time, but we kind of became like brother and sister. So it's just this really exciting thing, for us to be, writing songs for months, and then we kind of just start slicing them off, and each one that's better gets to stay on the album, and each one that's not, just does it. And then Mark made the board of completion.
Is that a real thing?
He put it on the studio.
Like a dry erase board? Or?
Oh, yeah. So I want you to imagine, like, the coolest studio you could ever imagine, with, like, Persian rugs all over the floor and candles, and all our lyrics are everywhere, and it's like 30 different guitars, amps, vintage drum kits, basses played by, like, the most famous people in the world, the Police's snare drum, and then the board of completion in the center that Mark made. That's a white board that, has a...
It looks like you're curing cancer.
Yeah, well, that would be fantastic. But it looks like preschool, or maybe or college.
Like your name is being written on the board.
I feel like I'm in detention all of a sudden, and my music is my homework, And Mark's like, this is what we need to get done. But he's not wrong to speak to me like I'm in preschool when it comes to getting things done, because if you hand me a document, like, with a lot of words in it, I, like, completely shut down.
The Perfect Illusion gets out there, just bam, massive success all over the place, and then you're still working on songs potentially for the same album.
Yeah, and while it's being put on the radio, we're either me or the guys are somewhere on a couch in a studio, half asleep with a French fry hanging out of our mouths, like, still going, Yeah. And everyone's like, you're number one in 62 countries. We're like, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Cool. We gotta still write that last one. I gotta redo the vocals on that. Yeah.
It's like we just don't, because it's cool charts and all that, and the success is so great. But what's really great is the musical camaraderie that I have got to build with these guys, and they're like my family. And I saw you guys laughing with each other, with your coworkers before we got started, and that's what it's like. I made food for them in the studio, and we would eat at 5 o'clock, and it was just a great time.
Wait, so do you cook? Yeah, that's what I was gonna get. A Lady Gaga cookbook soon?
Actually,
I would buy that.
There is a Lady Gaga cookbook.
Really?
It's my father's cookbook, though. Oh. And it was put out recently, and he will be very excited that you just plugged it on the radio for Joanne Trattoria Restaurant.
So do you go, you mentioned that you have daddy issues, but do you stop by your dad's restaurant? It's up the west side, right?
Oh, yeah.
So when you come to town, is it like one of the first places you go?
You mentioned you have daddy issues. Do you still go to the restaurant?
I was like, well, do I not ask about the restaurant then? Because it's your dad's restaurant.
So fantastic. No, I'm in a place now where I go all the time.
Okay. Maybe not before, but now we can.
No, I did. No, my dad and I are actually closer than ever. My dad is, and there's a lot on this album actually about my relationship with my father healing, because I never understood why my dad was so sad or so wild. My father's from New Jersey and likes to drink, and he grew up listening to, Bruce Springsteen and Bob Seger and Pink Floyd and Eric Clapton and Billy Joel, and my mom grew up listening to, Neil Young, and I come from a tough background, and I guess this album is a lot about, me kind of going back to who I am as a girl before I became a star, and erasing fame from my mind when I'm in the studio, and writing as, my father's daughter.
Anything you miss about being in the city?
Glass of white wine and a cigarette.
Nice, nice. Oh my God, you're taking me back
Peace.
I left my lipstick in your ashtray. That was like one of my favorite lyrics ever. That's like back when I first got a chance to interview you backstage at House of Blues years ago, and my coworker's gonna laugh because I talk about this all the time. But it was such a cool moment, and Jason Elias from Interscope gave me your record, The Fame, before it really broke, and you really kind of became Lady Gaga, this amazing force.
I was Lady Gaga before that.
And it was like hairbow days. I'm like, long live the hairbows. I have this amazing...
That was the year the hairbow was born. That is correct.
It was great, and I remember you were such, and still are, this like gritty, raw, real artist, and you would tell me you were sick. You had this crazy, insane fever. You were going to perform anyway, and you were telling me that as you were on tour, you would take the pizza boxes, and you would put them out, and that's how you would help design your set, was like drawing on these pizza boxes. I thought that was like the dopest thing.
We still do stuff like that. I mean, it's gotten more advanced.
Better pizza.
Yeah. Organic pizza. No, gluten-free. I'm just kidding. But we still hustle like that. I mean, that's the way that it goes. I mean, and I want to, you know. I'm just getting started, really. I've been making music now with, you know, like Tony Bennett for a couple of years, and you know, Elton John is, you know, one of my closest friends, and his husband David, and they just have showed me that like I'm a baby in my artistry, you know, and I just have to keep making music and keep going. And so my focus really for this album is showing that too, to young girls and to boys that want to make music, that you don't have to get lucky on the internet. It's not a social media game. You don't have to find a, you know, the hot producer and get the hot track, you know, to be a star. You can just learn how to play an instrument and sit in your room and practice and write songs and poetry, and then you can go around the corner to the bar and meet other artists that do the same thing that you do, and you can hang out and talk about music and write songs, and then you can play at the spot around the corner and gain one fan, and then do it over and over and over again until you're discovered.
The new song, and said they wanted me to change my hair, and I didn't want to change my hair, and deep down we talked about it after the show. I was like, oh, that's such a shame. But how do you tell like a younger person just coming out like in their early 20s to stick to their guns and be exactly who they are? Or because I feel like with us being in our 30s now, it's like nobody's going to tell you what you're going to, of course they're going to give you direction, but not
to
tell
your
you
30s and you're like, I don't give a
yeah.
That's what I am.
Yeah.
Hi.
Right.
But how do you
30's
tell a young person to have that power like that?
Because I'm young again. I'm at the bottom.
It's true, though. You get to that point where, like, wow, you do feel kind of like a rebirth in your 30s. So all you young ones.
Yeah, that's
what
I
to look
know.
forward
How do you
to.
even tell them?
I think it's because we have more sex drive in our 30s as well.
Well, that could be it.
And so it's like a confidence thing.
Like, yeah, that's
Is
probably
this like
true.
a young people program? No, this is adults listen to this
Yes.
also, don't they?
I mean, we'll just say
Or
enough
we're-
dirty
or
stuff
we're
to where the
just
kids will
teaching
just
young
drive
girls, or I'm
away.
just teaching girls in their 20s. Like, it gets better in your 30s.
I remember being in my 20s and people telling me, oh, it's going to be so much, like, 30s are
Yeah,
awesome.
and you're
they
like,
kick ass."
oh, you're just saying that to make me feel better.
You're so old, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm 26 and crying in a bar that I'm so old. Yeah, I remember that.
I went to your show in 2010 at Madison Square Garden, and it was me and an old coworker were like, same thing, what do we wear? What do we wear? I get there, and everybody expressed themselves in such a different way that I stood outside of MSG's just like people watching.
Oh, yeah.
Look at these outfits. These people have like wings on and hair all crazy. Like you could literally show up to your show, and you made everybody like jump up and down. It was such an energetic show. You were on the piano upside down playing it and singing. I'm like,
Oh, my God.
this is the most incredible experience I've ever been part of. Like your shows are really interactive. It's
Thank
so
you.
fun.
You know, I just love making music and I love performing. And I think that's a really powerful message, though, that you guys were both just talking about, too. It just, looking back now at when you're younger, you wish you weren't so hard on yourself, and I hope that, everyone, like, listening to this interview heard that, because that's something I really learned making this record. I just learned how much more wise I am now, and how much I've learned, and how important family is, and friendship, and how your career and making it is important, but it's not more important than keeping plans with your grandma and your dad, and making sure that you are on time, for your mom's event that she's doing, whatever it is that you're working on. It's that's what I've really learned going into my, leaving my 20s, is that it was time to have more balance in my life.
you mentioned cooking for Mark Ronson in studio. So I'm just anxious, like, what kind of food does Lady Gaga cook? Because you're Italian, so my gut is telling me there'd be some really great carbs in it for me if we were hanging and you were doing dinner.
Well, I can do all different kinds of pastas and all different kinds of, pounded breaded chicken and lemon zested chicken that's been fried with pepperoncini peppers, so it's a little spicy with some sausage. Fennel pasta.
Keep going.
But then I like to grill and barbecue too, because I've dated a lot of cowboys.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That was always a fantasy. I always wanted to date a cowboy. I'm engaged now, unfortunately. No,
Don't
it's a good thing.
do it.
But I'm saying I always
Don't
put
a cowboy hat on that guy.
Hang out
Doesn't
with the
matter.
hat, make some
Listen,
ribs and like feed each other ribs and stuff.
I've been chasing.
I don't know. It's a fantasy. Sorry.
Did you just picture barbecue sauce? Like, this is the best day of my life.
I have been chasing John Wayne since I was 16. So don't do it.
Really? Okay. Well, I can't now, but
Don't do
Your
it.
ex was sort of cowboyish. You kind of go for that, like, type, right?
I think, I guess I would just say a tough, strong, wild man.
wild. It's a balance. You need wild, but also settle down that brings you down to. Because I can imagine if you're you're so creative and always on the go. You need somebody probably. Maybe
In my mind, I want that, and that's what I'm supposed to do. But my heart is like, can your horse go faster?
Yeah.
I hope my top falls off.
Yeah.
I let's stop for another drink.
Yeah.
That's actually also what the record is about.
Okay.
There's a song like that actually.
Well, it's interesting because that's so funny.
I
Because we were
said one
taking
of the song titles while we were talking, and
You did?
Oh, we missed it. Darn it.
Dun-na, dun-na, dun.
Like, I
That
drink too
wasn't-
much. I'm trying to think of what happened in the last 5-10 minutes as we were talking.
Peppercini? No.
That was it.
Chicken or like.
That's it. You did it.
Was it it?
That was it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Look on the album. It's like, we broke it. Peppercini. I was just super excited.
That's the most New Jersey Italian song title that could ever happen.
You got to be who you are. You got to own
I'm
it.
happy to own
Do
it.
it, yeah.
I just hadn't gone there yet in my mind.
Which is what everybody thinks.
Right, but
No.
it's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that comment that you wrote on my Instagram, LOL, that was so funny. Great. That just died.
Yeah.
That moment is over. It's like and you missed the moment that we were having right here because you were just telling me about that moment that happened there, and then you were taking a picture while this moment happened, which means you actually the minute you take a photograph. Father John Misty was the one that said this. We were working on the record together. He said, as soon as you take a picture, the moment dies. And I said, that is just so true. Because you capture it forever, but it actually ends because you stop being in it.
Which is so funny because think about it, how many times we're like, let's take a picture, and then everyone awkwardly gets together and has to get on their good side.
Let's capture or kill this moment. So we said, let's capture this moment. And so we were like, let's kill the moment and take a picture. But you know what? Everyone's still going to do it, and I still think taking pictures is great.
Yeah.
And I do love the fact that you can document your life and show your family what you're up to on the internet. I just think it's, I think it's a really good time, especially with everything going on in the world, for everybody just to pay more attention to each other in person and make it a little more sexy.
I saw on your Snapchat that your song Perfect Illusion was playing on the radio, probably this radio station, I'm just going to say. I don't know which one, but you still got so excited, and that made me excited because we love radio for what it is. And it's so nice to see someone as big as Lady Gaga still get so amped when she's like, oh my God, my song is on the radio.
Of course I'm excited. Of course I get excited. I mean, it's not that easy, to just put music out. It's not only your personal work that you're putting out there, but there's a lot of artists. It's a big industry today, and you really have to work hard to get your music played, and I'm happy to do it.
With all the options like Spotify and the iTunes and all that business, what are your feelings and your thoughts about being played on the radio?
Well, I just want my music to be available everywhere, to everyone, so that as many people can hear it as possible. That's what I would say.
I like that.
I mean, it feels the most fair to the fans,
Right.
you know? It feels the most fair to the fans, and they've given me a lot. So, you know, I want to try to give back to them, too.
Well, we
If I can.
appreciate you giving back to us and coming in today.
Yeah, thank
Spending
you.
some
Thank
time
you.
with us. You're
Thanks.
the sweetest. Thanks. It's hard because no one can see this. It's off camera, but there are so many people that are in the corner of the room. There's like 10 people over here that are like this.
They're all naked.
frantic.
They're all naked. Too.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Which is so weird. But anyway, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate making the time. It's good to see you.
Cheers. Cheers.
I wish these were cocktails.